Good morning, and welcome to our morning conversation. This week's preaching lesson is from Isaiah chapter 61, where the prophet says that the Spirit of the Lord is upon me and reminds the people that God is present to help, to comfort, and to bring good news. And so I wanted to talk a little bit to my friend here today about a story she has that illustrates how God can put us in a position to help. Kristen, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you're connected to Trinity?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kristen Heisey. I'm married to Jeff Heisey. If some of you probably know Amaya Heisey, she's in fifth grade this year, and we have been at Trinity for a very long time. My husband's been there since he was born, really. He was born and raised with Trinity. So when we met, I became involved with the youth as well as my husband. He had already been involved, and we loved working with the kids. And we've been involved with Trinity ever since. So for me, it's been probably about, since about 2004. So yeah, it's been longer than I thought. So and Maya loves it at Trinity.
Yeah, well, we love having her and we love having you guys. So
thank you.
You have a story about being led in a direction that's turned out to be especially helpful in the world as it is today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, for those of you that don't know me, I am a social worker, and I started, back in 2001, I would say. I started working with, back then it was called MHMR, but it was those that were intellectually disabled. Absolutely loved that. From there, I graduated from Millersville and started, looking into some other positions in the social work field just to kind of get my feet wet. And I worked with children and youth and juvenile probation in a program for family reunification. Loved it, but ended up going into adoption and foster care, helping individuals to adopt and find their children. So, and then from there, just to kind of give you a backstory, my grandmother, she's 98 right now. She is my best friend. She has always been kind of like a second mom to me. And she has moved from North Dakota, where I was born, to Tennessee, where I was raised, and then to Pennsylvania. She's just always been with us. She's just a special lady. So I grew up kind of around her and just enjoyed her presence and enjoyed her conversations. Her generation, we're never going to see again. The stories and things they live through, I just really admire, and always kind of had that love for the geriatric population. And I don't remember what year it was, but my grandmother got into a bad car accident. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what if I lost her? She thankfully ended up being okay. But soon after that accident, I had a friend of mine tell me about a position that was open in geriatrics. And of course, I took that position thinking, maybe I can help, the residents and families like I would want to help my grandmother. And so that was back in, I don't remember what year it was, about 13 years ago or so. So I've been working with the geriatric population now for about 13 years. Absolutely love it. To kind of relate it to today's day and age, doing social work with geriatrics, just being that link right now with COVID that the families don't have with their loved one. I love meeting people, getting to know them, building rapport with them, kind of finding out what they were like, when they were younger versus, what I'm currently seeing. It really helps to build that rapport with somebody. yeah, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I just love the geriatric population. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really incredible. So when you say that you're a link for between families and patients who have COVID, I guess you're saying
Yes.
what does that entail? Like how are
Yes.
you a link?
Well, I'm working in the skilled retirement community right now with COVID, and pretty much since March, the residents and families have had very limited contact. We've had a very short period of time where they could have some in-person visits in the room, but most of those visits were, when the weather was nicer, it was outdoors, maybe for a half hour. Some people didn't have those visits at all. And currently right now, with the Lancaster County COVID rate being so high, families aren't allowed to visit at all. So, it's up to me as a social worker, and as well as our entire, team, healthcare team, to be that link to connect the residents with their families in whatever way we possibly can, to help them, whether it be virtual visits, whether it be, helping them just to use a regular phone, writing letters. It's just really, really important to maintain that communication. Or, we have families that used to come in on a daily basis and do little things for our residents just to kind of keep them comfortable. We're kind of doing those things now. And we're trying to get to know our residents as much as we possibly can to be able to provide them with as much comfort and happiness as we possibly can during this difficult time.
Yeah, that's my mother worked in a nursing home for many years. What we called a nursing home back then, she would always talk about families who would come in, a lot and do a lot for their resident, and then other residents who didn't have a lot of family connection or didn't get a lot of visits. But regardless of that part of it, it sounds like you are sort of being the family connection for everybody, or for as many people as possible. And to take it back to what you said about your grandmother, we all would want our loved ones to be treated as though they're family,
oh my gosh, yes,
wherever they are. And it sounds like you're trying to do that for these residents.
Yeah, providing reassurance to the families, whether it be phone calls or emails or just check-ins, it does a world of difference. We've definitely seen, changes in mood and, increased depression and anxiety. So we do our best to try to give them a quality of life, give them purpose, even if they are not able to do half of what they used to be able to do, even coming out of their rooms. We try to explain to them why we're doing things and just kind of give them reminders, and updates as to what's going on. But being that connection between the resident and family is so very important, and it's so appreciated. I was kind of worried at first with COVID and how families were going to react. And, I thought it was just going to be a lot of, and it is a lot of anger, but I feel like the families and the residents kind of have that understanding. They know that we're doing this to protect them and to keep them safe and healthy. But the families are so appreciative, for the smallest little things. And it really goes a long way. It really does.
Yeah. I've said about various things during this pandemic that none of it is ideal. None of it is what we really want, but these things help. The phone calls, like you said, the letters, just making the connection any way you can. We're making the best of it, and it helps. It's not ideal. It's not what we want, but it helps.
Yeah, and having a good team of healthcare staff, around you, just kind of keeping keeping, everybody happy and, what's the word I'm looking for? Keeping up the
morale.
Morale.
Yeah, there you go. Well, another word for morale is spirit. So, the spirit.
The spirit of the staff. Absolutely. It's, again, it's not ideal, but we have to make the best of it, and we have to do what we can for the residents, whether it's, putting things on television. We have a community television station where we can play movies, or, we have just live activities. So it's putting positive things on the television. This year, we're not going to have a Christmas function. Usually the staff, we put on a big Christmas, basically a big Christmas celebration where the residents come and watch us, and we sing and dance and do everything. But now, we're just trying to put it on TV, record things, just kind of keep that morale for the staff, and keep our residents happy as much as we can through this difficult time.
Yeah, we're just we're doing the best we can, and we're hanging in there until a brighter day, and that brighter day will definitely come. So
that's right.
But the way a lot of people are going to be able to hang in there is because of the work and the spirit and the presence of people like you. So
thank you. Thank
really
you. That's why we love what we do. And I feel it truly is a calling. It truly is a calling from God.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for having this conversation with me today. It was really great to talk to you. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll talk to you soon. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye.